I want to thank you, Mr. Chairman, for holding this hearing, and I want to thank my good friend Cindy Rosenwald, who I've known for nearly a decade, for having the courage to introduce it. I'm going to do something that I hope some of my colleagues will do behind me, and that is simply submit my testimony for the record and not go through it just in the interest of time. And so I'd like to just run through a few points. Number one, the notion that the district is somehow subsidized by the federal government is kind of an old urban myth. The fact is that the district government subsidizes the federal government. And I want to repeat that. The district government subsidizes the federal government. Whenever the president leaves the White House, there is an SOP division that follows him. Whenever there is a demonstration in our city, it is our local police who provide the health and safety and the protection for those who demonstrate. Even our own metro, when the federal government pays its workers to use our metro, district tax dollars subsidize the transport of every federal worker within WMATA. So not only do we take care of all police, all fire, all roads, all bridges, we actually subsidize the transport of federal workers. But even in times of great national crisis, it is the taxpayer of the district government that subsidizes this nation. When 9/11 occurred and when the plane went into the Pentagon, had it not been for DC fire apparatus, the Pentagon would have burned down. Had it not been for our fire and rescue, the remains of those who had lost their lives would not have been recovered. And in the aftermath, when our economy was devastated, in the aftermath of 9/11, when the economy of the country came to a halt, and we had to make choices, I had to make choices on behalf of my constituents, where our money would go, we cut services to our own residents to preserve the services to the White House and to Congress. And that's just part of the contribution, to say nothing, and we will have veterans who will speak later. The notion that it is somehow acceptable to have good Americans, 535, from other parts of the country have complete and total say over us is absurd. They are good, honest women and men who serve our country, but they do not represent me, nor do they represent my constituents, nor are they accountable to us. I just ask you, how would the individuals in this room, say nothing of putting Congress in charge, how would you like it if we put Montpelier in charge, the Vermont legislature, and Governor Shumlin in charge of everything that had to do with the state of New Hampshire? Some of you might like it, some of you might not. But the notion is the same. There's no accountability. There's no expectation that they know what they're doing when they make decisions about our lives. We are not free. We are singularly the highest per capita taxed Americans. We have no peer. The council, and when did we come about, and when did we have a mayor? In fact, we had a mayor and a council form of government starting in 1800. And we lost it in 1871, and we lost it for very specific reasons. And we whitewashed why we lost it. It was, oh, well, the council couldn't really manage the city, and the mayor couldn't manage the city. But what happened was this, that following the Civil War, there was an effort, thankfully, on the part of radical Republicans from New Hampshire to force the enfranchisement of freed slaves in the district. And that so frightened the white establishment that when the radicals and the Reconstruction waned, they seized the opportunity because they feared a black mayor and they feared a black chairman of our council. And in 1871, and for 100 years after, they stripped us of our ability to lead ourselves. Stripped us. And there's no reason to call it anything but. Now look, we are here asking for something that we are entitled to by birth. We are Americans. We pay our taxes, we work hard, we swear allegiance to this country. I'm asking on behalf of the 620,000 people I represent, bring us into the family. We're not asking for anything more or anything less. Nothing more, nothing less. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, before we go to any questions, we're going to listen to the councilman.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. My name is Michael Brown. I'm also an at-large member of DC City Council.